Hi, my name is Lily. I'm an NYP3 student at OSC. I moved here this year. I moved here with my mom and my dog. My dog's name's called Luna, and my mom is right there. If you don't know me in person, I'm quite a short individual. I love being with my friends. I love athletics, and I'm a little nervous today, and this is not helping, so bear with me. But I really do hope you take something away from what I'm about to say. So on a daily basis, we judge almost everything around us, whether we realize it or not. We judge our friends, ourselves, inanimate objects, the list goes on. Many people assume that judgment is always a bad thing, but in reality, when you're complimenting someone's personality or eyes, you're judging someone based on their characteristics or looks. It is strange because people, when they feel judged, they always feel like it's a negative thing, when in reality, they don't know whether someone has a positive or negative perspective about them. This TED Talk will be talking about negative judgment from others and ourselves. Negative judgment or interpretation is when someone understands or views something in a negative manner, frequently focusing on the flaws, issues, or potential drawbacks rather than the positive elements. This can be shown in a variety of ways, such as verbal criticism, disapproving body language, or withholding praise or appreciation. Negative judgments are frequently based on incomplete information and may not truly reflect the situation. Misinterpretation, or even a small bad instance you had prior, can be a reason for negative judgment. People thinking you meant something when you didn't mean it in the way they interpreted it. It is one of the hardest things to come back from because sometimes, no matter what you do or say, you can't convince the other person that you did it for them. They just can't come into concept with that. Sometimes you don't realize this, and this person builds up negative opinions about you, causing you to feel rejected, alone, or like your presence doesn't matter. Social acceptance is a basic human need, and in almost every situation, people want to feel valued and accepted. So when people don't feel valued and accepted, they tend to change themselves, either based on what others say or how they think they can fit in best. Being in school is already challenging enough, and then constantly having to change yourself because you feel like you can't fit in is exhausting, and eventually you forget the person you actually are. Talking behind someone's back can also cause these feelings and thoughts. It damages relationships and trust, especially if it was someone you confide in. In these kinds of situations, you can either choose to care and change yourself based on what they say, or you can remember that they are one person, and at the end of the day, the only opinion that should matter is your own. People will judge you. It's undeniable, whether that's in a positive or negative way. You can't change what they think of you, and you can't change what they say, but you can change your reaction and your response. No one can define the person you are. That is completely up to you. You get to choose whether you're going to have a good day or not someone else, no matter what they do or say. People worry so much about how they're interpreted and how others see them, and when they're not interpreted the way they want to be, they tend to change themselves just to fit in. And even after they change their entire identity and still don't fit in, that's when they start to feel rejected, alone, and unappreciated. Moving to a new school, I thought the only way I would ever be accepted or fit in was if I did the things others did. I would constantly find myself doing things I never wanted to do, which put massive pressure on me to change and become this new person, just so that people would like me. For many people, this is something that has happened to them. This feeling that you're not good enough as yourself, and because of that pressure, and because of that fear, you feel like the only way you will be good enough is if you change, becoming this new person just to fit in. In my opinion, I feel like people judge and interpret so quickly without actually getting to know the person and their story. Everyone has a story, everyone has gone through challenges and had to find solutions. Trying so hard to be this perfect individual and still not being good enough for everyone around you hurts a lot. We, as students, teachers, and parents, are set to incredible expectations which are there to set and guide us and make us grow, but we won't always be perfect. We will make mistakes, and most importantly, we will learn. For a long time, I thought being perfect was the only way I would be good enough. I would try so hard to be this perfect individual, and then when people didn't see me like that, I would get frustrated. I know many people who try to please everyone around them just for them to be hurt and misinterpreted into this horrible person, when all they tried to do was fit in. Looking at it now, I find the idea of being perfect completely useless. I mean, what's the point of being perfect if everything around you isn't? Not just that, but the whole idea of perfect is completely unattainable and unreachable. No human has ever completely been without fault or defect. You can't be perfect. There is no way to be perfect. It is unhealthy living up to a standard that you can't even remotely comprehend. My question is, what's the point of being perfect? You won't make mistakes, you won't learn, you wouldn't do anything wrong. In some instances, this may seem like a positive thing, but the relentless pursuit of perfection can cause low self-esteem, anxiety, and depression. Being perfect doesn't just mean having good grades. It means not doing anything wrong ever. The unrealistic idea of perfection will drive you into a never-ending cycle of being someone you're not just to seem perfect. I say seem because you can't be perfect. I don't think people realize what it actually means to be perfect. We learn and we grow from our mistakes, but if you are perfect, you wouldn't make any. So what would that make you? You would just stay perfect. If you are good enough for yourself, shouldn't that be perfect? Perfect for you, for yourself? This argument is based on the fact that perfect is unachievable, but that is when you are following someone else's description or interpretation of what perfect means. No matter what you do, you can't match someone's interpretation or description because you are not them. You are simply not them. No matter what you do, no matter what you try, you can't live up to a standard that you can't comprehend. For the people in this world who believe that being perfect is the only way to show your teachers, friends, or family that you are good enough, you're not doing anything for yourself. You are living up to their standard, which, as I said before, you can't even comprehend. Perfect only has to be unhealthy if you make it unhealthy. If you set unreachable goals, or if you choose to follow someone else's interpretation and constantly try to be perfect for them, and you make perfect unhealthy, whether you realize it or not. Try setting reachable goals for yourself, even if it's the smallest thing, because I guarantee you, once you start focusing on being good enough for yourself, you will understand how stupid it is following someone else's interpretation of what perfect means to them. With all this in mind, people will judge you, whether that's in a positive or negative way. You can't change that. You can't possibly stop someone from having ideas about you in both positive and negative ways. However, negative judgment doesn't always have to be a bad thing. You can learn and you can grow from it, but if you constantly look at the negative side to negative judgment, that is all you will see. When people say things and make negative assumptions about you, don't let your head fall down. Don't let others drive you to change your entire identity. Don't feel that pressure just to fit in. It will be hard, but people will accept you for who you are. You don't have to do the things others do for them to see that. Thank you.